Hello everyone and welcome back to the Boardroom. As always, we are meeting with some of Malta's leading business minds and we're asking for their opinion on everything that's happened over the last few weeks and also their expectations for what things will look like in the weeks and months to come. Now, today we're going to be talking about mobility, transport, how we're going to be moving in the future. How has the mobility been affected in the past few weeks and are things going to remain the same or change as we go forward? I know that many of you are watching us live now, so feel free, please do send your questions in below by adding them on Facebook. If you don't manage to catch us live, then don't worry, you'll be able to watch this back on who'swho.mt, Malta's leading business portal. Now, today we're lucky enough to have with us three of Malta's leading business minds in the mobility sphere, and they are Matthew Bezzina, he is CEO and co-founder at eCabs, Geoffrey Debono, CEO at Debono Group, and Liana Cremona, who is COO at GOTO. Matthew, Geoffrey, Liana, thank you so much for being with us on the Boardroom.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Not at all, not at all. So nice to see you. And Geoffrey, I'm going to come straight to you. Obviously, you're dealing with a number of different brands related to mobility. Toyota's one of them, of course. How were you hit when COVID hit us a few weeks ago? What was the initial change that you saw straight away?
So, first of all, the hit was felt right away, and people's reaction was immediately to contain or restrain any spending, given the immediate surprise that the pandemic brought, and therefore people stopped buying, people stopped visiting, also for obvious reasons, health reasons, and also through our mobility businesses. People felt that they were not going out as much as they did, working from home, or else restraining their travel as much as possible, or else choosing options where they travel on their own. So there were different factors that contributed, but ultimately the hit was very, very strong and immediate.
Okay, thank you. Matthew, I know you move thousands of people a day, or you did before the pandemic, obviously over at eCabs. So again, you know, probably mobility in this sector wasn't something that we would have imagined would have been hit in this way, but it was, right? Because of the closure of business, because of the closure of everything pretty much. Were you surprised by how quickly things shut down? Matthew, I'm going to stop you right there because you are muted at the moment. Let's see if we can unmute you.
Okay,
there we go.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
We all experienced the proverbial black swan, no news there. So all companies had to rush, to understand the ramifications of the impact this was going to have, not just on our bottom line, but across the entire operation. The first question was, how can we, as a company, position ourselves, to best protect our staff and also our clients? And what we did was, despite the decrease in volumes, we started updating our centralized cleaning SOPs, to include new high-grade disinfectants and other cleaning procedures. And this all happened, if I recall, during the second week of March. Communication was also, an essential aspect that needed, tightening up. At that time, I remember we ensured that all our internal and external communication channels were ready, to fire up on all cylinders. Unfortunately, yes, all business areas were hit. But I think out of all, it was the human, resources, human capital department that suffered mostly. Eventually also, as far as the organization was concerned, our primary focus had to shift to the long-term strategy, whilst of the company, whilst implementing initiatives to aid the community in a time when we believe that at that time the community spirit should have been the main theme in the country across all sectors. And we will continue to aid as long as we can when it comes to CSR initiatives.
Okay. Thank you, Matthew. And Liana, over to you at GOTO, obviously a company that's been sort of growing year on year, encouraging people to sort of give up car ownership and instead share transport between a number of different people, hop on board an electric vehicle. Again, not an area that you would necessarily think would be hit by a black swan, by something that that brought about a downturn. But of course, you were hit. What was your story?
Yes, I think we're very closely monitoring the crisis unfold overseas. So we knew that once it hit Italy, it was just a matter of time before it hit us. And just before, even before government instilled in any restrictions, we had already implemented changes across the board, short-term and some long-term measures. Of course, some impacted our team. And we very carefully re-optimized the way we worked overnight. So we still instill that we have a company protocol that includes maintaining our, teleworking and sanitizing our fleet. But of course, safety now had a completely different definition. So our customer base was not just looking for reliability and accessibility, safety to them. It wasn't just a sense of responsibility towards our team, but equally to provide a shared service that was completely sanitized and environment-wise they carried out their journeys.
Very interesting. Thank you. And Geoffrey, you and I have spoken before about sort of, how transport is changing, how mobility is changing. And I think we got a taste of that, didn't we? We got a taste of what it's like to move differently, or rather not at all in this case. But I think it also gave us possibly a hint, of the changes we might have to make in the future, but whether it's environmental, etc. What was your sort of aha moment in all of this? What really impressed you with the way things developed?
I think one of the things that I was pleasantly surprised with is the lower amount of traffic on the road, which overnight sort of cars vanished from the road, which was great to see and experience on a day-to-day basis. Plus also pollution decreased substantially. So it felt that the environment had taken a very much needed breathing space. From a business perspective, and the way the mobility sector, I think, develops post-COVID is, in the initial period, at least the way we see it, until a vaccine is found, I think the companies that are providing the safest and most reliable service from a sort of health perspective are also destined to win, because they give customers peace of mind. And throughout our businesses, we've taken measures through sanitizing, separation of seats, etc., to make sure that the cars are all in the cleanest and healthiest possible shape. And I believe that people have experienced a different quality of life, even when they want to get around now with less cars on the road, etc. And I hope that some of that is retained. I would like it to be more than I hope, but in reality, I don't think in the short term there will be a major change from private vehicle ownership to mobility services. But over the longer term, we expect to see that people will start more and more to make use of mobility and also enjoy the benefits of mobility, such as variable cost of ownership, amongst others, and also the convenience that mobility services offer.
Absolutely. And Matthew, what sort of trends have you seen emerge from this period? Is there anything that sort of surprised you about either when the lockdown started or now that things have opened up again largely? What trends are emerging? Is there anything that consumers are showing you they're looking for differently than before?
No, I think as Geoffrey rightly said, traffic has decreased, and obviously the way traffic will be changing over the next couple of weeks, months, and years will definitely change. Such recent behavioral changes, such as working from home and the plethora of online conferencing tools available, has made our businesses and many others and employers rethink and restructure their operational needs. At the moment, I do think we still are we still all need to learn how to manage these tools, because even though everyone has rushed to use these tools and got excited in the beginning, still there's a learning curve which all businesses and companies have to still learn from. But I am confident that we will all have less cars on the road, and people will be adapting to the possibilities and benefits of working from home. So yes, I have no doubt in my mind that things will definitely change for the better in the coming weeks, months and years.
Okay, and Liana, obviously you are, just like Matthew says, and both Geoffrey as well, you at GOTO, you're primed for that sort of change in market sentiment, in people wanting to think about their mobility in a different way. Have you seen people responding to this? Are people perhaps more aware now of maybe not having to choose the status quo option when it comes to mobility?
Yes, I think so. We had a lot of inquiries at the beginning from our customer base and new customers inquiring about the service. And a lot of that was due to the fact that it's such an autonomous, singular service that you can take a scooter and car and be alone rather than share the space with somebody else. But yes, I think the crisis has been so dramatically raw, and like Matthew and Geoffrey are saying, it's making people ask really pertinent questions that should be supported by governments worldwide, because this has been a real awakening that people are managing to telework. We're managing to lead companies without being under the same roof. So I think despite the crisis, I'd like to be optimistic maybe, but 2020 has proved to be despite all the controversy, it's a year that we can declare change and work for change and be the change in a sustainable way. And, we should be asking ourselves how we can develop and grow more organically and ergonomically. So yes, there's a sense of we should return to the new norm, if you wish, but I'm still questioning whether that's the best solution or how we should develop that new norm.
Absolutely. And Geoffrey, what do you think transport's going to look like in 5 to 10 years' time? Again, something else we've spoken about before, but if you had to sort of pinpoint how mobility will continue to change, let's look at a 5-year plan. What do you think will be the case?
The expectation is that there will be 3 major changes, which are electrification of vehicles, shared vehicles, and autonomous vehicles. I think the biggest change on the way the landscape operates, the environment operates, will be very much driven by the advent of autonomous vehicles, because that will change significantly the cost per mile to take a passenger or a good from one place to another. So I would say that is the major shift and the major change that we expect in the next 5 to 10 years. I also think that as a result of the current situation, the development of such technology will be expedited, and more money will be, more resources will be put into the development of such technology. Plus also, as I mentioned, electrification, changing to electric vehicles, which GOTO's fleet is virtually all electric, and therefore sort of taking off vehicles off the road which are emitting as they travel. So I think these are the major changes that we will see in the coming 5 to 10 years.
Thank you. And Matthew, do you align with that? I mean, I know, again, eCabs has been very innovative when it has come to some of the changes you've put in place in the market. What sort of changes are you looking at now? How are you going to continue to sort of remain at the forefront?
Definitely agree with Geoffrey's prediction of how the future will develop. However, and this is something which touches, with all sectors and businesses of multi-society, it all depends also on the maturity of the local political system. So unless decisions will stop being taken within 5-year political cycles, fueled by populist ideals and demands, changes will be slow. Let's keep in mind that back in 2016, government published 2 beautiful technocratic documents, which are the Transport Master Plan and the National Transport Strategy. They all have recommendations and policies, which, if they were implemented in the past 4 years, 5 years, we'll definitely won't be having this kind of conversation now. So when it comes to transport policy, decisions need to stop being taken within the demands of a 5-year political cycle.
That's fantastic insight. And you know, carrying on from that, Matthew, can I stay with you to sort of think about what we should be doing then? So obviously we don't want it to look like a 5-year cycle. What should it look like?
So if I was a transport policymaker, definitely for starters, let's keep in mind that the mobility industry will be catapulted into the future due to global tech players being propped up by the general global shift in the use of technology. When I say global tech players, I'm referring to the companies like Facebook, Amazon, Google, Apple, etc. These companies, they had time plans for the next 5, 10, 15 years. The fact that they have been registering double-digit growth on the platforms means that all what was planned will be compressed in a shorter period of time. So I would definitely adopt a proactive approach by preparing and legislating for new technologies and concepts that will hit our shores in the very near future. To date, this country has unfortunately done quite the opposite, with populist decisions that please the few but damaged our industry. When I'm referring to when I mention our industry, I'm referring to the cab ride-hailing platform industry. Whereas a reform that has been in the pipeline for 3 years has still not seen the light of day. As Geoffrey and Liana mentioned, I would also make sure that multimodality is given the needed impetus, all right, to work and succeed in a densely populated country like Malta. What do I mean by multimodality? I live in St. Julian's, I take a cab to the Slima ferries, let's say. Eventually, I grab a ferry to Valletta and I walk to Marsamxett to the law courts. 3 different modes of transport: the cab, the ferry, and walking to get to my destination without using my car. And finally, to conclude, I would legislate to ensure regulatory, fiscal, and employment compliance, ensure that there's the proper enforcement structure. The proper enforcement structures are in place, to ensure passenger safety. And with these actions in place, they will guarantee, the overall sustainability of the industry. This eventually would instill more confidence in potential passengers, to opt for multimodal forms of transport as opposed to using their own private car.
Fantastic insight there, Matthew. Thank you. And Liana, I'll come to you again. I know, again, GOTO is breaking the mold. I know you are vocal as a company about what policies we need to be putting into place. If you were planning the transport industry for the sort of next 5 years and you were in charge, what decisions do you think need to be taken to move us forward and stop us sitting in traffic?
Okay, now I clearly think that the future is electric and hydropowered, as well as the introduction of autonomous vehicles, whether for personal or commercial use. These are already in play in other countries overseas, and they're proving to be very feasible. I think there should be more financial feasibility to make this more attainable in the short term. I'm pleased that there are some EU initiatives to support, governments across the EU to implement such green measures. But yes, in terms of traffic, I'd like to see, even small things can have such a huge effect. So one of them is the remote working, which we've seen has had an impact. But then again, you might want to stagger, government departments, start and end times, diversity in medical appointment times, nighttime truck deliveries. Only have refrigerated trucks, on weekends when people are enjoying their leisure time. So there's a number of things that we can do in the short term, for us to enjoy our journeys to work and to our chores, etc.
Wonderful. And Geoffrey, if I had to ask you, is the future electric, petrol, or hydro? What would you say? Or autonomous? Which I suppose
I think autonomous is definitely one that I would put as number one main sort of driving force to change the way the way we live, but we might not have it in the next 3 to 5 years. So in the 5 years, I see more electric vehicles coming on our roads. Hydrogen is a great way of fueling a vehicle. However, the infrastructure that's required to set it up is quite expensive, and also has to be handled with care. So if you see the push the European Union is having is very much towards the electrification of vehicles. So taking off internal combustion engine and putting in electric vehicles. And hybrid is a great way of getting us there because it is a go-between. It's a combination of a petrol and an electric vehicle, both in one. And it's been proven that people can save substantial money from an ownership perspective, and even from an acquisition cost perspective. The cost is close to par between hybrid and internal combustion engine. So I firmly believe that changing to electric is the way that our country will move in the next 3 to 5 years. And also, one of our MEPs, Dr. Miriam Dalli, is pioneering this at an EU level. And I'm sure she will also have a positive effect on our government to encourage them to shift the way vehicles in Malta are brought in.
Thank you, Geoffrey. Matthew, coming back to you again, is this something you agree with? Is it electro that we'll be looking at in the future? And are these the kind of changes? Is electric going to be enough of a change? Should we be doing, more infrastructural changes as well? What would you be recommending there?
I am not technocratic enough in order to be able to recommend. So obviously I'm basing my answers based on research out there. Definitely depends on the initiatives that are spearheaded at a European and local level. On a European level, the European Commission should, one, first incentivize and help fund car manufacturers for more investment in research and development. So car manufacturers were already struggling post-COVID, and especially the European ones. And now things have gotten worse. Most probably, their research and development budgets will be the first to get the chop. So therefore, delaying, meaningful shifts to electric and hydro-powered transport. I am not that overconfident that the shift will happen locally in a very short period of time, because on a local level, authorities must, one, enact legislation to prepare for the infrastructural future needs of the country. For example, let's say, how many new car parks were built over the past 5 years? No single car park has been developed to an extent where the electric charging infrastructure is already in place. So if there was policy that tied developers to build the electric infrastructure, to put the electric infrastructure in place, even though it's not being used, but at least it's there, it's lying. So when the shift comes from a vehicle perspective, the infrastructure would be ready. Same applies to fuel stations. The controversy around fuel stations. Imagine every new fuel station that was built over the 5 years, it already has the electric charging infrastructure in place. So when EV vehicles take over, the infrastructure is there. And this obviously takes vision, all right, and proper policy in order to be future ready, future proof.
Fantastic, thank you. So Liana, obviously Geoffrey, Matthew, you are all business leaders in this field. I'm curious what you've learned over the past few weeks, how maybe things have moved quickly in your minds about how things should change, how you've all led your teams. Liana, I'll come to you first. What's been, again, a big learning step for you in the past few weeks?
I think it was the strength of our team, how compassionate they've been and how they've come together, even when we had to take some very drastic measures on the size of our teams. So I'm very, very proud of them, I'll say that much. But also how dynamic we were able to be, how we were able to change the way we operated from one day to the next, support this with technology, and really be there for our customers. both with reliability, the accessibility, and the safety measures we took across our fleet.
Thank you. Geoffrey?
From our end, as a group, given that we're involved in the traditional space and also the future space, from a traditional perspective, from a Toyota perspective, we've remained open throughout the whole period with skeleton staff and all the safety measures in place to minimize any contagion. From a mobility perspective, it has been much easier to work remotely because technology enables you to work from anywhere. So we've luckily we've been we were prepared from a perspective that even our traditional space, from a technology perspective, we were pretty ready because all our sort of employees had laptops, they could work from home, so we could switch, press our button on the switch and change overnight. So that helped tremendously. But I would say overall, the team really came out to give the best experience possible to our customers, given also they were obviously at risk. And I would say that they've handled it very effectively and professionally.
Thank you. Matthew?
Totally agree with Liana and Geoffrey. From my side, before, for the past 10 years, it was all about how fast you are to capture new business, based on the economic growth that the country and the world was experiencing. Nowadays, it's all about resilience and endurance. And let's not think that it's over, because I believe that it's going to take another 2 years to 3 years for things to, if they ever will reach 2009 levels. So we're only, past a small percentage of this trauma. So when it comes to what I've learned in business, it's all about now endurance and being resilient to what the curveball of life and business may throw at you. The curveball that business may throw at you, especially during these tough times.
Okay, and staying with you, Matthew, I'd just love to have your one key takeaway, perhaps to other business people who are watching us today. What would that be going forward? What's your one piece of advice that they should take heed of?
I think it's based both on business and even on a personal perspective. Always think long term. Long term. Having a long-term perspective to everything is key in order to prepare us for the future and how the world which we'll be living in the next few decades.
Thank you.
Think long term.
Thank you, Matthew.
Don't
Liana.
FOMO.
Don't FOMO. Yes. Liana, what about you? What's your takeaway from the COVID period?
Very similar to Matthew. This is a marathon, not a sprint, and this is what we're instilling within our team. We have to take it each step at a time. Like Matthew rightly said, also, we can expect possibly another curveball in the coming months. So, just stick together and do what's best for our team and our customers across the board.
Fantastic, thank you. And finally, Geoffrey, what's your takeaway?
I guess there are many things that one can take away, but if there's one, I would share Matthew's, which is think long term and always sort of plan ahead of the game. And I would say the other one that would I would say is be close to your people, because in times of difficulty, they really can show you how resilient they are and step up to the occasion to ensure the business keeps moving in the toughest of times. I would say that the team really came together during the toughest time, and together we managed to get through it, remain open, and give customers an experience which is what they expect.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all so much for sharing your insight there. So much to both look forward to and learn from about the future of mobility. Very exciting times, also lots of challenges. But I know you guys will be amongst the many leading us forward there. So thanks again for being with us. Thank you also to all of you at home or at the office for joining us on today's show. We look forward to welcoming you on the next episode of The Boardroom.